Oh, y'all been spamming up. Do the Bermuda Triangle all in the comments for every video, so here it is. Although we can't do a lot of research on the Bermuda Triangle, do know it exists though, and it's a lot of evidence showing that it might be located between these three locations right here. You got Florida, you got the Bermuda Islands, and you got San Juan, Puerto Rico. Throughout history, there have been numerous amounts of ships and airplanes going missing without a trace. But why not start with the first one, the one that started the legend, the one that started it all? 1945, 5 Navy planes took off from their base in Florida. It was nothing crazy, just a routine training mission. However, once these planes departed, they were never seen again. No traces of them left anywhere. And here, the legend of the Bermuda Triangle was born. But it's not a legend, it's real. Right, and if that wasn't enough, I got another story for y'all. December 28th, 1948. Which again, if we go back to the origin story about the 5 Navy airplanes dating back to 1945, they not that far apart. So here in 1948, the DC-3 disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle. Y'all could go ahead and pause to read if you would like. But to summarize this story all up, DC-3, the airplane, departed from San Juan, Puerto Rico at 10:03 a.m. Final destination was, of course, Miami, Florida. And again, if you remember the map I showed you, you can see that Miami, Florida, or Florida in general, and Puerto Rico are the 2 points of the Bermuda Triangle. The flight included 29 passengers and 3 crew members. Everything left without a trace, and this is only the first instance. 2 more cases of DC-3 airplanes were reported missing over the Bermuda Triangle. Last message of the original DC-3 airplane was detected with 20 minutes to go into the flight. This occurred with all 3 DC-3s. Going over the same location. And also, y'all should be familiar with her, but Amelia Earhart. A lot of people believe that she actually landed in the Bermuda Triangle. But the magnetic force there is so strong, once you in, you can't leave. And she was trapped. But I'ma leave that for y'all to decide. Alright, I'm gone. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.
The pilot's last transmission from here was, "Everything is wrong, everything looks strange." This is the bizarre and unexplained Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is an area of the Atlantic Ocean that forms a triangle between Florida, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda. And hauntingly, hundreds of ships, planes, and people have seemingly vanished in this triangle. Beyond the unexplainable disappearances, times of travel there are sporadic. Some flights will make it to their destinations incredibly fast, others taking hours longer. In the 1970s, an experienced pilot named Bruce Gernon lived through getting lost in the Bermuda Triangle. One day, Bruce took off from Andros Island in the Bahamas for Florida. Shortly after, his plane was wrapped in a gray haze. He described it as an electric fog which he flew through blindly and said it was as dark as night. He then began seeing flashes of bright light, but it wasn't lightning, it was something else entirely. The compasses were spinning on their own counterclockwise and his entire dashboard was malfunctioning. He finally made it out of the haze and had no idea where he was. It was then that his radio notified him that he was over Miami, but physically, this couldn't be. His watch said it had been 47 minutes, but that trip always took him 90. And his plane only used half the fuel that was needed for that flight. Bizarre happenings have been reported for years. In 1918, the Navy's USS Cyclops disappeared somewhere north of Barbados. The strange thing about this one was that the ship's captain never sent out any distress signals. We've seen Titanic, okay? We know how this works. One of the strangest disappearances is that of Flight 19. On December 5, 1945, 5 military TBM torpedoes flew out of Fort Lauderdale through the Bermuda Triangle. It was a routine training mission with 14 men, led by seasoned instructor Lieutenant Charles Taylor. These planes were so solid in structure, they were nicknamed Iron Birds. They were really built to withstand anything. Shortly after takeoff, Lieutenant Taylor signaled that they were lost in the Bermuda Triangle. He communicated that their compasses were completely malfunctioning. A pilot in this flight transmitted back the following message: "Everything looks strange, even the ocean." So a Mariner flyer took out for a rescue mission to save them. And it too went missing. After this, the Navy sent out a final report on this incident and said, quote, "We are not even able to make a good guess as to what happened." You know it's bad when the Navy's like, "You got me." Yikes. What are your thoughts?
The fear is that they are losing control to control their citizens. That's what everyone should be opening their eyes to at this point. Like, who cares about TikTok? Who cares about whatever? It's not about that you guys can talk to each other and unite. It's the fact that they're not going to be able to control you anymore. They have literally said this in their news segments. They said this in the Congress when they're speaking. They're upset and confused and wonder if China can influence their citizens, because what they're not saying, that's their job. That's America's job. That's why it's really difficult to get into the entertainment industry, because the entertainment industry has access to everyone's attention. And so they can filter what goes through the entertainment industry that will go through to you to influence you to do certain things. That is the point of ads in America. That is the point of marketing. They use manipulation tactics, and then media manipulate you into wanting these things or thinking you need these things. So then people go to these people, rather it's Google ads, whoever, the media, the network, commercials. They pay for commercials, they pay for ads to keep their businesses running. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism, and when I used to write for journalism back in the day when it wasn't online, that is how we kept our papers going, was through advertisement. So for anyone who doesn't know what pays for your television shows, it is your commercials. TikTok took that shit away the moment people started realizing they can put their shit out on this app and it will get way more views and way more traffic than if you went through Google ads or something else. They're mentioning the fact that people keep spending 90 minutes or more on the app. That is 90 minutes away from them manipulating you to do whatever they want you to do. Rather, that is you investing into another big pharma pill to solve your problem, buying another thing that's going to have you gain a lot of weight, or whatever the case may be, or even manipulating you into voting for certain people. There are literal news segments going around saying that they fear TikTok because they feel like that it will meddle into their elections. What do you think they mean when they say meddle into their elections? They're talking about the fact that you will not be able to be persuaded into the choice of candidates that they have presented in front of you. Voting is just an illusion and a game that they put on to keep you guys in check, to make you believe that you still have some kind of fucking voice, when clearly you don't. The bigger picture of this entire situation is that you have been manipulated through the media, through every kind of media. And TikTok has taken your attention away from that media that manipulates you, and now they are a fucking threat.
Y'all, it's getting serious now. Let's get it. The U.S. Federal Reserve banking system is launching its own cash app called FedNow in July. This is a movement towards getting rid of physical money and having digital currency. Remember, I told y'all that was the plan in the first place. US dollar is losing its value, and very fast. China and Russia are currently trying to undercut the US dollar, which would make one of them the more dominant currency. And with that being done, our government has to act fast. I believe they have. And before I continue, of course, everything is for educational purposes. I remember just a couple of months ago when the 3 cryptocurrency billionaires suddenly died. One in a fatal shooting, which they called a suicide, one in a helicopter crash, and other, of course, sudden suicide. Then you have Bob Lee, Cash App creator, who was fatally stabbed in San Francisco. And then you get the US Federal Reserve banking system launching its own Cash App. Of course, Cash App was purposely said. Then the app is called FedNow. Like, if that's not a big enough alert and red flag for you, I don't know what it is. Fed anything, it ain't good. Of course, all of this is being done because the US does not want to see any other country with the most dominant form of currency. Remember, to the elites, the only thing that matters is money, power, and natural resources. If you don't have all 3 of those within your control, you are a weak country. That's how they think about it. Unaliving the cryptocurrency billionaires gives them a free way to opening a new app called FedNow. If you don't gotta worry about your competition, then there's no competition. Turn it into a monopoly. That's how the entire world was built, and it ain't gonna stop now. Let me know what y'all think about Russia and China trying to undercut the US dollar. And also let me know what y'all think about FedNow in the situation with cryptocurrency becoming the
Top of the week to y'all. The English language is full of curses and spells, hence why we learn how to write in cursive and how to spell in grade school. Each week we awake in the morning to go to our jobs on the weekdays to earn a living. The translation of that, trance Trance. Awake is a funeral for the dead. Mourning is what you do when you lose a loved one. You have to be in a weak days to earn a living, since earn is the ashes, since earn are ashes for the dead, and job is Hebrew for persecution. And at the end of this, we get the weak end of the deal, and we're weakened. So, happy Monday.
To a certain level, and there's a reason why, which I'm going to talk about in a second, where they're starting to see a little bit beyond the veil and start to recognize some of the synchronicities that are occurring right around them. And these synchronicities have been happening for millennia, but up until, really now, as we went through a dark age and come back up now into the light, we're now starting to recognize and realize that we're living in a numerical light matrix. And that's what we're really living in. It's a light matrix based on mathematics. And there's a lot of synchronicities where you see these digits of numbers and you can catch them so randomly, even in different time zones, even on your microwave oven. And these synchronistic numbers expose a little bit of what's going on behind the veil. And then also you have the capability of tapping into some of these synchronicities. When you see them, there should be an attention being paid to where you are, who you are, what you're doing at that moment, and what's going on around you. It's pretty interesting because I'm born on the 4th, September the 4th, and my master number is 44, which is a super powerful number. But when I got my first numerical reading, the gentleman that was reading me, who had never met me before, knew nothing about me, and this was in the mountains in Jamaica. He didn't even have internet, so it couldn't look me up on Instagram or nothing else. But some of the things he told me, I had never told anybody. Just from my numbers based on my name, he got the number 44 out of with this numerical code that the numerologists know how to break down. And he started telling me things about my heart. He said, when you were born, you had a hole in your heart, which is a fact. I have a heart murmur. He knew about my kids and how many kids I had and the type of businesses I've had, and how I'm so structured and how I work and how I'm able to multitask and run multiple corporations at the same time. And I've been very successful, and how tedious I am. And he just laid it all out. So after that happened, that was years ago, I started paying a lot more attention to the 4s. Now, here's what's interesting. I used to see a lot of 222s and 333s. But once I was brought aware of the number 4, and I had awareness brought to that number, yesterday, for example, like I just said a minute ago, the gas station, 444. I have videos on my Facebook where I would go to, went to Walmart in the middle of the night, random, just to pick up some candles. And they were $4.44. I mean, just crazy stuff like that. So, I mean, every single day, 2 or 3 times a day, I'm seeing 444 somewhere. And it's pretty interesting that once my attention was brought, or my awareness was brought to that number, the synchronicity between me and that number in random places all over the world, it's everywhere, and it's almost in everything. And when I see the number, 2 things happen for me. The first thing is I go, I'm still in my flow state, because I truly do believe that the synchronicity of me seeing these numbers represents the state of mind that I'm in. And right now I'm in a super, super flow state. The second thing is I pause, and then I evaluate my current situation. And a lot of the times I feel I either remember something that I forgot to do, I see an opportunity to help somebody, or I recognize a situation that
if you have hair loss or thinning of the hair that won't grow back, you have a damaged nervous system. And I talk to y'all about this all the time, about how your hair is actually an extension of your nervous system. It's an extension of your nervous system, and the extension is in thermoreceptors, environmental receptors, and it sits in something called the Merkel's disc. And what your hair is for, your hair literally scans the environment, brings signals back to alert certain types of amino acid structures that the allopathic community call proteins, and it literally tells you how to interact in your relationship with the environment, whether to fight or flight, go run, go fighting, or to assimilate with the environment and to enjoy yourself, for you can experience euphoria by way of melanin neurotransmitter, what we call a hormone called dopamine. That's the reason why we get gut feelings. You get the gut feeling by the hair that's in your gut. That's the reason why when you hear something that's supernatural, or you see an evil entity, or you feel a low thought form frequency that's not in body form yet, the hair on your skin actually stands up. Your hair is way more important than you think, because it's a part of the peripheral nervous system. It's a part of the etheric nervous system, and it stems from your gut. What you think the microvilli is, these are hairs inside of the body. And if you missing hair outside of the body, then you missing hair on the inside of the body. You have hair inside of your ears to let you hear.
Hair-like structures called stereocilia sit on top of hair cells and are grouped together as hair cell bundles inside the cochlea. The hair cells inside the cochlea ride these waves, and the hair bundles are moved. The hair bundle on top of the hair cell turns these movements into electrical signals. As the hair bundles are moved, ions rush into the top of the hair cells, causing the release of chemicals at the bottom of the hair cells. The chemicals bind to the auditory nerve cells and create an electrical signal which travels along the auditory nerve to the brain.
You have hair called cones inside of your octolobes that helps you see.
Cones are the reason your incredible eye can detect up to 7 million colors.
You have hair inside of your actual duodenum and in your large intestines that help you move. It's called peristalsis. They help you move and digest your food, to get your food to the rectum and the anus, for you can defecate. You have hair on the outside of your skin, and notice, it can't be to keep us warm. It ain't enough of it. So it ain't like fur. This is not like certain Neanderthal people. It's not that thick to keep us warm. So what is it for then? What is it for, black man, black woman? Oh, it's to keep us. No, it's not. How is this gonna keep me warm? How is this hair gonna keep me warm, family? That's not what it's for. These are receptors. These are part of our senses. Everybody always want to talk about the senses. It's 6 senses. Physical sense. No, there's 7. And then it always go up to 12, but the other ones are spiritual. That 7 senses your hair. It literally has a functionality. It scans the environment. It's made from the same cells of your brain called the ectoderm when you start studying embryology. So if you're losing hair on the outside or you thinning hair on the outside, then that means you losing hair on the inside, which means that you have metabolic acidosis that is chewing away at the nervous system. Now you have to start going after things that's going to actually heal the nervous system. Your berry kingdom is very, very good for actually inciting and stimulating and regrowing or regenerating damaged nerves. So berries, berries, berries. Get your anthocyanins in. Get your melanin from your fruit in. That will help actually repair the nerves, y'all. Blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, mulberries, juniper berries. Go berry crazy. Berries, berries, berries. Berries is your highest neurological food on planet Earth. If you want to heal any neurological diseases, go on a berry diet. You want to regenerate nerves, go on a berry diet. You want your penis to get stiff and hard again because you're suffering from the lack of circulation, go on a berry diet. Them berries will change your life. You have bad menstrual cycles, you have fibroid tissues building up in the endometrium lining of the uterus and cervix, go on a berry diet. It will even regulate women's period. Berries are amazing because they high in antioxidants. Not only that, they're oxygenators, and not only are they oxygenators, it literally feeds the cells of the brain. And these are straight up facts, man. Straight up facts. Now look, check this out. Let's read some articles about the hair. All right, it says exploring the connection between the gut and hair. Dermatologists tend to think of the skin as a interface between the body's internal systems and the outside world. However, the digestive tract also is an important connection between the body eternal, even though they say internal, we are eternal people. Eternal environment and external environment. Beyond nutrients assimilation and elimination pathways, the digestive tract is home to a complex and diverse ecosystem. The gut microbiome or microbiome, the intricate relationship of the surrounding enteric nervous system, also described as the second brain. So it's really the first brain, which is the solar plexus, or what they call the enteric. I like to call it the intrinsic. You can look it up. Intrinsic nervous system exists as well, but this is literally the adrenal glands in the gut, all mixed together. The neuroendocrine, hypothalamic, pituitary adrenal axis, the gut immune system, or what they call the GOAT. This stands for gut associated lymphatic tissues, right? And the interstitial mucosa barrier ultimately connects to the digestive system and to many other body systems, including what, y'all? The hair. According to integrity of the gut microbiome, it is critical for optimal total body well-being. Your hair is literally, look, your hair is literally an extension of your enteric nervous system, or what they will call your peripheral, parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system, and it's by way of the Merkel's disc.